And then now what I will do from today onwards, I will give you the short overview to SAP FICO, and then we are going to discuss in detail the SAP FICO enterprise structure. Okay, let's get started with the overview to SAP FI and CO. So first of all, let's divide SAP FICO into two parts. Okay, SAP FI and SAP CO. Right, so SAP FI, which is nothing but financial accounting. What is the purpose of financial accounting? Financial accounting is mainly used for external reporting purpose for mandatory compliances. Right, so if you have a company, that company has to generate their financial statements, and those financial statements needs to be produced to various external authorities. It is mandatory, it is not optional. Right, so in order to generate those financial statements, in order to make sure that the compliances are followed, there are different sub modules within SAP FI. Okay, so it includes the general ledger accounting, okay, which is mainly to, you know, uh, performing the adjustments normally at the month end, okay, accruals, deferrals, recurring entries. Okay, so a lot of things which are not coming under any other submodule. For example, when we talk about accounts payables, these are the transactions that are directly relevant to the suppliers, vendors, right? So whenever you are buying, whenever you are paying to the suppliers, all those transactions related to suppliers will come under accounts payables. Same way, accounts receivable, this takes care of all the different transactions which are related to customers. So if you are selling something to the customer, till the time you don't get the payment, all those transactions are recorded in accounts receivable module. Then you have fixed asset accounting module, which is going to take care of the fixed assets of your organization. So whenever you are purchasing a new asset, okay, asset means you can have land, you can have building, you can have furniture, you can have vehicles, you can have IT hardwares, non-tangible assets. So all those things, purchasing the asset, performing the depreciation run, selling those assets, scrapping those assets, transferring those assets, all those transactions will come under fixed asset accounting. And then bank accounting. So whenever you are making the payment, whenever you are receiving the payment, performing the bank reconciliation in the manual or electronic way, okay, maintaining the bank master data, creating the new bank accounts, all those things comes under the bank accounting. So these are sub modules. You can say these are you can also say these are the sub ledgers in SAP: accounts payables, account receivable, fixed asset accounting. Why these are sub ledgers? Because in accounts payable you will not be able to post anything without vendor. In accounts receivable you will not be able to post anything without customer. In fixed asset accounting you will not be able to post anything without the fixed asset. So these are sub ledgers. And then if you want to make the posting directly to the ledgers, the adjustments posting, accruals, deferrals, as I told you, recurring documents, right, then you can use general ledger accounting for those manual adjustments. So these are some of the components within SAP Financial Accounting. These components are mandatory to be followed by the organizations in order to generate their financial statements, which are from the compliance point of view. Okay, so now coming to our main topic, that is SAP CO. Okay, before I proceed, I don't know why people are still asking on WhatsApp whether it is started or not. All of you, please confirm on the chat screen that it is all good. You are able to hear me properly. Screen is visible properly. Okay, let me continue then. So, coming to SAP CO, okay, it is called as controlling. Okay, but from the theoretical point of view or from the academic point of view, you know there is financial accounting and then there is a management accounting. From the business process point of view also, you can say SAP CO is nothing but management accounting, how the management accounting will be handled in SAP. So management accounting means what? This is internal reporting. This is for the internal purpose of the organization. Okay, as an organization internally, if I want to make the decisions. Okay, so you have your cost controllers. Okay, you want to do the planning at the beginning of the year. What planning you want to do? Let's say I want to do the revenue planning, I want to do the cost planning, I want to do the profit planning, how much profit I want to earn in this particular year, right? So, or as a cost controller, you want to know what is going to be my cost of a particular product to manufacture, whether I manufacture that particular product or buy it from outside, what would be more suitable for my company, right? Similarly, if you are a cost controller and you want to know what is the cost being incurred by the different departments of the organization, how can we reduce those costs? Okay, how can we make more profit by reducing the cost? So all these different things, if you want to do at the internal level, those comes under the management accounting module of SAP, that is SAP Controlling. Okay, now within SAP Controlling, there are different components. Okay, so it starts with the cost element accounting. Okay, so cost element is nothing but similar to the GL in FI. Okay, so why we create a GL in FI? So if you want to debit, if you want to credit, if you want to do any accounting posting, if you want to do any, let's say you just want to post into accounts, you will definitely need to debit something and credit something. It has to balance to zero, right? So for that reason, we create different GL accounts. We create the GL accounts either as a balance sheet account or the profit and loss accounts. So in short, we create different GL accounts in SAP FI in order to allow the postings within FI module. Similarly, if you want to do the postings in CO, you need to create the cost elements. Okay, and normally cost elements are created for profit and loss accounts, because from the CO point of view, most of the time we are not going to do anything to the balance sheet. CO is all about cost and revenue, right? CO is all about cost and revenue. Cost and revenue means P&L GLs, profit and loss GLs. So normally, all those GL accounts that we create in FI module, okay, which are related to profit and loss. So in short, in my general ledger accounts, I have two type of GLs, balance sheet and profit and loss. I don't need to touch the balance sheet, but whatever profit and loss accounts I will create in FI, normally all these GLs are created as cost elements in CO. Okay, normally, I'm not saying there are exceptions. Okay, there are definitely exceptions. There are few cases where you would not prefer to create a profit and loss account as a cost element. We will discuss those scenarios, but normally maybe 98 to 99% of the time, each and every GL account that you will be creating as a profit and loss account, you will be creating as a cost element in SAP CO module. Okay, so that is cost element accounting. We will be going into detail of this. We'll be able to understand that. As of now, I'm just giving you the overview. Then comes the cost center accounting. So cost center accounting and profit center accounting, what is the difference between cost center and profit center? The name itself is saying this is cost center, this is responsible for only cost, this will only collect the cost. And then this is a profit center. So it is profit center, which means it is going to collect the data from revenue as well as cost, and revenue minus cost will give us profit, right? So what are the examples? What are those uh, objects that you'll be creating as the cost centers? So think about a company and think about where exactly the company will incur the cost. Okay, normally very simple examples are the different departments of the organization. So within the organization, there are different departments. Okay, so if I talk about a particular company, you will be having the HR department, you will be having the sales department, purchase department, IT department, right? Accounting department. So these are different type of departments within the organization. Okay, if you talk about the manufacturing company, then within each and every maybe plant and machinery is also going to incur some cost. So we may need to create each and every machine also as a cost center. Okay, again, why we need to create that and all, we'll be looking at it once we reach to that particular topic. But just remember, cost center accounting is only going to collect the cost. It has nothing to do with revenue. And that is the reason normally, what are the different examples of the cost centers? Only those places in organization who are just incurring the cost. HR department, will they provide the revenue directly? Are HR department doing any kind of sales? Is it going to be any kind of sales receiving from the HR department or IT department or accounting department? No, they will just incur the cost, right? Sales will not be booked at these kind of department levels, and that is the reason we create that as a cost center. Okay, now what exactly is profit center? So as I told you, profit center is a place in the organization which is able to generate the revenue, and it is also able to generate the cost. At the end of the day, we get the profit at that particular level. So for example, if you want to know what is a profit by selling a particular product in a company, okay, let's assume there is a company which is into, let's take a simple example. I think Amazon is the best example. Everybody is able to correlate with that. So within Amazon, you know, when you go to their website, you will be able to see different products, okay, or different brands. Let's say Amazon wants to see what is the total profit generated by selling Apple products. Okay, so Apple can be created as a profit center. Every time, whenever you are going to perform any sales, if it is related to Apple, it will be booked in that particular profit center. Anytime if a company is going to generate any cost, if they are going to incur any cost, and they are able to track that cost at the Apple level, so at the end of the month, I can clearly go and see what is my total sales for Apple and what is my total cost as Apple. So that calculation will give me the profit at the Apple level. Now, why this is required? Think about Amazon at the end of the month, if they want to see which particular brand or which particular product is giving me more profit. Okay, if they find that, okay, there are some products which are ultimately giving me the loss, now the decision needs to be made whether these products have potential to give profit in future, or these products are continuing to give the loss in future, and that is the reason Amazon can decide that I don't want to continue these products. I just want to concentrate on those products which are going to give me profit either today, or they have the potential to give the profit in future, right? So the brand, the products, even in some of the companies, the different geographical locations, right? If I want to generate the profit, if I want to know my profit at EMEA level, okay, so for example, there is a big company, they have offices all over the world, so they have divided their offices into Asia, EMEA, maybe US. Okay, so those kind of segregations they have done, and they want to know the profitability at a particular geographical region or at a particular country level. So that also can be created as a profit center, right? So any place within the organization which has the capability to generate the revenue as well as to incur the cost, and if your organization is interested to know the profitability at that particular level, then we can create those as profit centers. So that is the basic difference between cost center accounting and profit center accounting. Okay, and then two most important modules in SAP CO are product costing and COPA. Okay, so product costing, what is the purpose of this product costing component? Product costing component takes care of controlling the cost of the products which are normally manufactured in-house. Okay, so if you are a manufacturing company, you have different products that you are manufacturing, you want to know what is the cost of manufacturing. Not only the total cost, you want to segregate, you want to split the cost of material into different components. So what is my total raw material cost? What is my total labor cost? What are the total overheads? which are applicable to this particular product. So those things are controlled within the product costing component. Not only calculating the cost, but also monitoring the cost. So for each and every production, what system can do, system will compare that the planned cost of the product was, let's say, 100, but the actual cost has become 105. So why this 5 difference has come? What is the reason for this variance? Whether we have used more material, or we extended the number of hours in terms of the labor, or the overheads were increased, due to which the cost of the product is more than what was planned. Okay, again, why it is required? To make the corrective actions, to make the decisions. If I don't know what is my cost of product, if I don't know what is my cost of a particular order that I have manufactured, particular batch that I have manufactured, then how will I decide whether I am selling the product at the right time, right price or not? Right. So if I'm assuming that my manufacturing cost is 100, and based on that I have decided I will add 20% profit, 20% margin, so I'm selling at 120. So for the month, if you come to know that actual cost is not 100, it is increased to 105 or 110, and I want to make additional 20% margin, then this is a kind of decision that company will take to update their sales price also. Okay, this is kind of one decision making. Another decision making, if a company finds out that okay, we are manufacturing this material at 107 or 110, but the same material our external vendor can help, and they can give us this material at only, let's say, 90, 95 or 100, then does it make sense to manufacture in house, or it makes sense to uh, outsource this particular manufacturing? Okay, again, it is not a decision that you will take simply like this. You will also see the potential that today maybe it is 107. Do you have the potential that we can reduce it to 90, 85, and we can manufacture at lower cost than it is available in the market? If yes, you will continue the manufacturing process. If not, you will simply outsource this particular manufacturing to the external companies, external vendors. Right? So these all type of decisions are taken within the SAP CO component. Okay, then within product costing, or you can say a separate module within the submodule within CO, is material ledger. This is normally related to valuating the different materials. It can be the raw material, it can be the SFG, which is semi-finished goods, finished goods, how those materials are going to be valuated. Okay, if I want to know at any point in time what is the total cost of materials which are available in my stock, so easily I'll be able to get that report from SAP. I can go to multiple reports there are available in SAP, which will give me the exact quantity available and what is the total value of those quantity. But if I want to evaluate this material at multiple currencies, okay, so in my reports I'm able to see the amount in INR, but I also want to see the actual amount in USD, actual amount in maybe Singapore dollar, because that is my group company. So if I want the reporting at multiple currencies, or if I want to generate my material valuation at different valuation methods, then material ledger is going to be the important module which is provided and which can help you to generate those reports without doing any manual activities. Okay, there are only few activities that you need to do in the month end in order to manage the material ledger. And the last one is profitability analysis and COPA. This is similar to profit center accounting. Here also we can generate the profitability reports. This tool is a reporting tool, you can say. This tool is a reporting tool which will allow you to generate the profitability reports. Okay, so we already discussed, we can see the profit here. If I want to know what is my total profit of Apple, I can see it here. Then why I need profitability analysis? The basic difference between profit center accounting and profitability analysis is profitability analysis allows you to generate your profitability reports at multiple dimensions. What do you mean by multiple dimensions? So at profit center level, I can go and I can see what is my total profit for Apple. Perfectly fine. At profit center level, if I created my profit centers as the different countries, I can go and I can see the report at the specific country level. Again, perfect. But if a management wants to see the profitability of a particular product in a particular region, okay, for a particular customer segment, right? So let's take an example. I want to see what is my profitability in Apple within India, and the customer segment is kind of, let's say, B2B customers. So you can see in this example, I added three segments. Number one is my brand, number two is my region, and number three is my customer segment. This is just an example. There can be multiple, maybe 10, 15, 20 different segments that you have to define, and you have to collect the data at the time of sales and at the time of cost. System will be able to give you the report at multiple dimensions. Okay, so in profitability analysis, what we do, first of all, we ask the customer that what are the dimensions that you want to see in your profitability reports. We finalize the dimensions, we create those dimensions in the SAP system, we capture those dimensions in each and every transaction that we perform, and at the end of the month or during the month, you can go and generate the profitability reports according to different dimensions. Okay, you can combine multiple dimensions to generate the report, which is normally not the case under profit center accounting, right? So these are the components that we are going to discuss in detail. This was just a high level overview. I already covered this overview in my demos also, but I'm not sure how many of you have attended those demos. So this is a perfect time for you to understand what are we going to discuss, what are the different components in SAP CO, and how are we going to follow the sequence. We will follow the same sequence. We'll start with the FICO enterprise structure today. Then we will first some of the scenarios we will see cost element accounting, then cost center accounting, then profit center accounting, and towards the, you can say, after the mid level, you will be able to see more and more detailed sessions on product costing, material ledger, and profitability analysis. Okay, so this was about the basics of FI and basics of CO. Now I hope you are very clear. If you are already clear, perfectly fine. But those of you who are someone completely new, that you are just working as an end user and you wanted to know the differences between FI and CO, I hope that is very clear in your mind now. Okay, so what I can do, there are two options. I can allow you to ask the questions now itself before I go and start the enterprise structure. But I think this was basic. Everybody was already knowing. There are only few guys who are new to this and they might be having the questions. So what I'll do is I will continue for a few more minutes. Okay, we'll start with the enterprise structure, and then I will give you the time to ask any questions related to whatever we discussed today, including the enterprise structure and the overview to SAP FICO. Okay, just confirm yes on the chat screen, all good, so that I can proceed and I know that there are perfect. Okay. Okay, now coming to the important topic which we are going to discuss in detail. Till now it was just an overview, high level overview, but now whatever we are going to start, we are going into the detailed of these topics. The first thing, again, maybe one thing which is again an overview, and this is mainly important for those guys who are not coming from the consulting background. Okay, so if you are an end user, if you are in the senior management positions, you are just attending this kind of first SAP training. So you might be already knowing, but it is my responsibility to make sure that even if you have basic understanding, at least you will get the full understanding of what exactly is SAP System Landscape. Okay, so what do you mean by SAP System Landscape? Within SAP, okay, normally whenever you work on any project, there are at least three different systems. Okay, you might have heard development system, quality system, and production system. Okay, this production system is a main system where the actual business transactions are carried out. This is the actual system from where the actual reports related to financial accounting, management accounting, and whatever different modules are being used in the organization, those reports are actually generated, and those reports are shared with the external authorities as well as the internal reporting purpose. Okay, but as a consultant, normally we don't do anything in the PRD system. We don't touch the production system. Many times, even we don't have the access to the production system. So, as a consultant, whenever you want to do any kind of configuration, okay, or in simple terms, if I don't want to say configurations, the basic setup. What is our responsibility as a consultant? What is the difference between the consultant and the end user? The end user is the actual person who is actually going to post the transactions in SAP. So if I am a accountant, okay, I am the end user in SAP. It is my responsibility to post all the AP invoices whenever I receive the invoices from the vendors. Okay, it is my responsibility to post all the invoices that I need to generate to the customer. It is my responsibility to make the payment to the supplier. It is my responsibility to book the payments received from the customer. It is my responsibility to generate the purchase, to make the let's say purchase entry for all the assets. It is my responsibility to perform the depreciation. Now, depending upon how big is the organization, if it is a small organization, one accountant can do all these things. But normally, if the organization is so small that there is only one accountant, they will definitely not use SAP, because SAP is normally used by at least the middle and big organizations, at least SAP as for HANA. If you're talking about B1 and all the small products, that is completely fine. But when you're talking about SAP as for HANA, normally the companies have multiple employees working in the different departments, right? But as an end user, if I talk about a group of people, there are few people who are responsible for AP, there are few people responsible for AR, there are other set of people which are responsible for assets, and then obviously if there are multiple legal entities, let's say there is a company which is using SAP and they have uh, different offices in different countries, then it may also happen that each and every country end users are different who are only taking care of that particular legal entity. So in short, this is the definition of end user. End user is a person or the group of people who are going to post the day-to-day transactions in SAP. Okay, we as a consultant, we don't post any transaction in the production system. We don't touch the production system at all. Okay, what is our responsibility then? Our responsibility is to make sure that whatever is the required feature available in the production system, whichever has been agreed with the management and all the decisions, to set up those set up those features in the SAP system, right? And how you set up those features? Let's take an example. Today, there are, assuming there are 6 departments in your organization. Okay, there are 6 departments in your organization. Department 1, Department 2, Department 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, tomorrow your company wants to create the 7th department. Okay. Now, normally this department creation is a cost center. As I told you, the departments normally we create as a cost center. So whether you as a consultant will be responsible to create the cost center, or the end user can directly create a cost center. Okay, the cost center is a master data. Master data means it is possible to directly create in the production system. Normally the cost center is directly created to the production system. So whatever activities are possible to be directly done in the production, normally the business don't want consultant to do it. That responsibility we normally give it to the end user or a separate master data team who will be directly able to create those in the PRD system, in the production system. Okay, now take another example. In a company, there are already 4 legal entities. Okay, there is a legal entity in US, there is a legal entity in Singapore, there is a legal entity in UAE, and there is another legal entity in India. Now this company has acquired, or maybe they are starting the new business in Malaysia, and Malaysia will be a new entity altogether. Okay, in SAP terms, it would be the new company code, for example. So now this company code creation, is it something which I can directly do in the production? Is it something which a end user will be directly able to do in the production? Definitely not, right? So for that, they will need the consultant to set up the new company code in the SAP system. And as a consultant, I will never directly touch the production system. As a consultant, we do all the setup in SAP terminologies, all the configurations in development system. Okay, what is the development system? What is the difference? So development system is a system which is mainly from the configuration perspective, so that we don't directly touch to production system. Why we don't want to touch the production system directly? Because before, production system is a critical system. If you make some changes, okay, and it impacts the normal business of the customer, then we are gone, right? Think about this. There are already 4 legal entities that I told you are running in this production system. And I wanted to add the Malaysia entity in this production system. And while adding that, I made some change which has impacted the other 4 company codes also. So now when the US is trying to do the business, when think about Amazon, thousands or maybe millions of transactions in the seconds or minutes. So even for few seconds, if something goes wrong in the production system, there is a huge loss to this company, right? And that is the reason it is not at all recommended to touch the production system directly. What we do is we do the setup in the development system, because this is a system where we can kind of play in the sense we can do whatever we want, and then we get enough time to test whether it is working fine, whether it is creating any issues with the entities which are already in place. Not only we, this in this development system we configure, and we as a consultant also perform some test, so that we are 100% sure that it has not impacted the other business processes, and it has taken care of the requirements that are given by the customer. But even after 100% testing, what we do next is we move whatever we have done in the development system to the quality system through the transport request. Okay. Now, why we do the quality system in between? Because this is a place where we want the end users or the business users to verify whether everything is working fine, whether it has impacted any other processes, so that if I directly move, let's say I tested here and directly moved to production, the end user will only be able to test in the production system. If something goes wrong, it will come to the consultant. Consultant will be responsible. But why this approach? Because as a consultant, I have done some configuration. I have tested from my side. I moved it to quality. Now it is a business responsibility, end user, business user's responsibility to verify if everything is working fine or not. Okay, this is a place where the business needs to confirm that if everything is working fine or not. If it is not working, you can take the decision here itself. Okay, screen is not visible. Let me share once again. Yeah, please confirm if you are able to see my screen now. Okay. Okay, so this is a quality system where we want the business to verify whether everything is working fine or not. If the business confirms that yes, now I have tested everything is working fine, then we can move into the production. And as a consultant, we are like kind of now in the better position that if something goes wrong in the production system, at least we can say that it was end user's responsibility in the quality system to verify. We are not directly moved. It is not like we tested and we moved to production. There was one level of or multiple level of testings also done in quality system to verify whether everything is working fine, and only after the business users confirm that yes, everything is working fine, then we move to the production system. Okay, so there is a development system which will be used to in the realization phase in the projects to set up the system from the functional technical point of view so that UAT can be performed in the development phase. Okay, UAT, I'll say not UAT, this is unit test. Test that is performed by the consultants is called as a unit test. Then it goes to the quality. This is a system which is used to provide the training to the business users. Okay, this system is normally used for the training purpose also. Or if the company is too big, they want to set up a completely new system for training, they can create a new system for training. But main purpose is to perform the UAT. UAT stands for user acceptance test. They verify, they accept that yes, everything is working fine, and then the things are moved to the production system. This is a system which is used by the business users to perform day-to-day activities after go live. Okay, and transport requests are created in development system. So how the data or how the configuration will move from development to quality to production, we make the use of the transport request in the development system, and then with the help of basis team, or if you are using solution manager, depending upon what you are doing it manually, or you are using the solution manager, or you are using some other tools, you can transport the data from development to quality and quality to production. Okay, there are two type of transport request. One is customizing request, which is nothing but functional activities. Functional means we as a FI consultant, we as a CO consultant, whatever activities we do, normally it generates the functional or it generates the customizing request. Then there is a workbench request, normally from the technical side, ABAP side. Whenever we are developing something new with the help of ABAP, they normally create a workbench request. Okay, so I hope now you are clear with the SAP system landscape. Now the next one is, let's go to the enterprise element, or you can call it as the organizational units. Okay, let's see the hierarchy. So now I'm talking about SAP FICO enterprise structure. So within the SAP S/4HANA or even in SAP ECC, you will not find much difference in the enterprise structure, irrespective of whether you are using SAP ECC or you are using SAP S/4HANA. These are the different components of your enterprise. Number one to start with is operating concern. Okay, what do you mean by operating concern? Why do we create operating concern? When it is required to create the operating concern? Okay, let's try to understand that. So as I told you, there are different submodules in SAP CO. If you are using cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting, product costing, material ledger, but not using profitability analysis, if you don't want to use COPA, there is no need to create the operating concern. Operating concern is only required if you want to activate COPA. If you want to have multi-dimensional report, then you have to create an operating concern. Okay, if you don't want to generate the profitability reports, maybe you have some other tools to generate the reports outside SAP system. Your company is not implementing COPA as of now, they will be implementing maybe later. In that case, operating concern may not be required. So operating concern is optional. It is only required if COPA is being implemented. Okay, without operating concern, you will not be able to implement COPA. You will not be able to activate COPA. Okay, so that is number one. Now, how many operating concerns should be created in the SAP system? It is always recommended that you create a single operating concern so that you are able to see your profitability reports at the group level. Okay, if you want to see the profitability reports at the group level, it is always recommended to create a single operating concern. Okay, most of the companies, wherever you will go and wherever you will see how many operating concerns they have created, if they are using COPA, you will find most of the time answer is one, because profitability reports you want to generate at the group level. When I say profitability reports I can generate at the group level, I'm not saying it is only at the group level. I am saying group level plus legal entity level plus profit center level, we already seen different dimensions, right? So it is up to you. It is not necessary that each and every report I need to have 20 dimensions. I'm capturing these 20 dimensions. Let's take an example. Whenever I am doing any transaction, let's say in profitability analysis, what are the different dimensions? Let's say my dimension is company code, which is my legal entity. Then I have sales organization from SD side, sales and distribution module side. Then I want to see the report customer wise. Then I want to see the report brand wise. Then I want to see the report region wise. So let's say I have 8 to 10 different dimensions which I have defined in my profitability analysis report. That doesn't mean that all the reports will show all the 8 dimensions. If you want to generate the report only region wise, I want to see region wise sales or region wise profit, I can do that because region is captured in the transaction. I want to see the report only as per the customer group, whether it is B2B or B2C sales. Again, that is possible. I want to see the report only for my company code. I don't want to see the report for other company codes. That is also possible. This is very normal requirement, right? If I have multiple company codes, again, take the same example of 4 legal entities. So if a Singapore user wants to see the report, why he is bothered about the profitability of US? Definitely, from the security, we will control that he will be only able to see the data related to Singapore. Even within Singapore, if he is responsible only for a specific profit center or only for the specific plant, we can control that also. So if I create a single operating concern, I can generate the report at the global level, group level. So if a CEO or CFO, they want to see the reports of all the legal entities, all the regions at once, they will be able to do that. And as a business user, if I want to see the report at the very minute level, even that can be done with the help of single operating concern. Okay, how to create and all, this is something which we'll be seeing at the last of the course when we start the profitability analysis. Okay, because this part is only required when we go and activate COPA. Okay, now within the operating concern, okay, one operating concern can have multiple controlling areas. Now what is controlling area? So if you are using SAP CO module, even if you want to use cost element accounting only, okay, which is normally not the case. If a company wants to implement implement CO, at least they will use cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting. So if they want to use any of this component, in short, if they want to use the basic of CO also, then controlling area is must. If you want to use controlling module, in short, if you want to use controlling module, even the basic feature of controlling module, you have to create a controlling area. Similar to if you want to use the FI module, you need to create a company code. Without company code, you will not be able to do any thing in SAP FI or chart of account. Again, within chart of account, you will not be able to do anything in FI. Same way, in SAP CO, you will not be able to do anything without controlling area. Now again the question comes, how many controlling areas? Is one controlling area enough or we need multiple controlling areas? Again, the option is provided by SAP. You can create multiple controlling areas, but what is recommended? Again, it is always recommended to have single controlling area. Okay, why? Because controlling is for internal reporting. And internal reporting means what? Not only reporting, your company might be doing some internal transactions with each other. Okay, sometimes let's say your company, same company, okay, 4 legal entities, one in US, one in India, one in Singapore, and one in UAE. Now this company is organizing a big event at the group level in US, and they are inviting from UAE, from India, from everywhere, all the 4 legal entities. Now definitely these events are not happening for free. There are some lot of cost involved for these events. Now the question is, who will bear this cost? Whether US will bear this cost or this cost will be distributed to all the 4 legal entities, that is a business decision. But the question is, if I'm using separate controlling areas, how will I allocate this cost to different company codes? Okay, I'm not saying it is not possible, but there will be multiple postings that you have to do in financial accounting in order to distribute this cost, right? But if you are using a common controlling area, the distribution of cost from different company codes or from one company code to different company codes will become very simple. And that is the reason, again, you go to big companies where SAP is implemented, you will find they normally use a single controlling area. Okay, because they want to do the uh, reporting or allocations or distribution at the group level. They want to allow intercompany allocations. That is the reason they prefer to have a common controlling area. This is similar to the common chart of account that we create in FI. Okay, it is always recommended to have a common chart of account in SAP FI. Why? Again, it makes easier at the group level to generate the financial reports. Same way, from the controlling point of view, it is simple if there is a single controlling area at the group level to perform the allocations within controlling at the internal level, also at the external level. Okay, so it is not only, I'm not only saying that this will only generate a controlling document. If there are multiple legal entities involved, it is obviously going to affect the FI also. Okay, so we'll discuss that. Now within controlling area, there can be multiple company codes, multiple legal entities. Okay, in our example, we can create one operating concern as Amazon Group. We can create one controlling area again as Amazon Group. But within that group, we have to create multiple legal entities which are registered at the group level. Okay, so for example, there is a legal entity registered in US, let's say Amazon INC. There is another legal entity which is registered in India, Amazon India Private Limited, another legal entity registered in Singapore, another legal entity registered in UAE, or even it is not at the country level. It can be multiple legal entities registered within India also. So those all legal entities needs to be created as different company codes. Okay, so within a controlling area, there will be multiple company codes. Okay, if you go to big organizations, 100, 200 company codes. Okay, at the complete group level. So all those 100, 200 company codes are normally assigned to the same controlling area. And if they are using the COPA, controlling area is assigned to single operating concern. Okay, now within company code, there can be plants. Okay, obviously this plants and all comes under the logistics modules. But yes, as I told you, if you want to learn CO, you don't need to restrict your knowledge to FI. There are a lot of things that you need to understand from the logistics point of view. You will understand the complete production process, the complete purchase process. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss in detail. So this will give you the idea of the entire business altogether. It is not only from the SAP point of view, you will understand how CO works. You will get a complete understanding of how the business works, because without that knowledge, you will not be able to run the SAP CO module. Okay, so within a company code, there can be different plants. Let's say within Amazon India, they have the, let's say, office in Bangalore, they have the office in Hyderabad, they have the office in Chennai. So those can be created as plants. Remember one thing, plants doesn't necessarily mean the manufacturing plants. In SAP, when we create the plants, it is not necessarily the manufacturing plant. It can be the physical location, anything. Even if you are doing sales from there, or you are just doing the administrative work from a particular office, those also can be created as plants in SAP. Okay, and normally these plants are assigned to business areas in FI. Okay, so if you want to generate the financial statements at the plant level, then the business area is what we create, and we assign each and every plant to one-to-one mapping of business areas. Okay, not mandatory, but this is how most of the companies organization structure is activated. Okay, now let me close this. So this we discussed one hierarchy within company code. So within controlling area, we can have multiple company codes. Within company code, we can have multiple plants. But within controlling area, we can have multiple profit centers also. Why I'm not creating this profit center within company code? Because there are some profit centers which are not company code specific. Okay, most of them actually. Most of the profit centers, they are not company code specific. Okay, for example, Amazon Group. The brands like Apple, Samsung, IKEA, these products are not only used by India, are not only sold by India or US or Singapore, it is sold all over the world. And that is the reason it is independent of company code. So we can create different profit centers. Okay, different products, it can be different products, it can be different brands, depending upon at what level you are creating the profit centers. And those products again or profit centers will again have the cost component involved. Okay, so as I told you, if I have a different products, okay, or if I have the different geographical regions and I want to perform the profit reports, what I need the revenue and I need the cost. So normally revenues are directly booked at the profit center level. Whenever you are booking the revenue, you can tell the system that this revenue is related to a specific profit center. So whenever you are selling the Apple mobile, you will say this revenue, whatever amount I'm getting to sell this mobile, this revenue belongs to profit center Apple. But when it comes to the cost, okay, so let's say there is a sales department which is only doing the sales for Apple. Okay, there is a separate product manager for Apple related products. So whatever is the salary of that particular department, I'm just giving one example, salaries, admin, whatever. So whatever is the salary of that particular sales department or whatever incentives they are getting, okay, all that will be booked under the cost center of Apple, right? And cost center of Apple is tagged to profit center. It is linked to profit center. So whenever you book the cost center will immediately transfer the posting to profit center also. So that I'll be able to get the revenue minus cost and I'll be able to generate my profitability reports at a specific dimension level, right? So these are the terminologies that you need to remember. What we are going to do now is we have to set up all these things in SAP system. Okay, slowly. I'm not saying each and everything we'll be doing now. Definitely we don't need to create the operating concern now, and maybe today the time may not permit us to create each and everything, but whatever possible. Okay, we will start with the FI setup. Then we'll come to the controlling. Okay, FI setup, what we need to do, we need to create the company codes and we need to assign the company code to different global parameters. Okay, so if you want to run the company code, it is not like I created a company code and I'll be able to do the transactions. If I want to really use the company code, what I need to do is I need to make that company code active by providing all this information. I need to create a chart of account. I need to assign the fiscal year variant. I need to assign the posting period variant. And finally, I need to assign the field status variant. Okay, these are the four important global parameters. Normally I cover in FI, but just those of you who are not coming directly from FI background, I highly recommend, that is the reason we were providing the FI video so that you can go through the basics of SAP FI. If you are not registered for those videos, it is not a big deal. Just take your time whenever possible, just Google or just go through the YouTube channel and just listen to what exactly is chart of account, what exactly is fiscal year variant, posting period variant, and field status variant. I'll give the short introduction now, but if you want to the detailed explanation, you can just go through any YouTube video or Google, or if you have the access to our SAP FI videos, go through these topics which are covered in detail. Okay, so chart of account means the list of all the different GLs that we create in SAP. Okay, so again, it is always recommended to have a common chart of account at the group level. Okay, in addition to the common chart of account, there are other ways in which you can create the country specific chart of account or the group chart of account. So basically there are three types of chart of accounts: operational, which is normally required. I think it is also mentioned here. I'll be sharing the slides with you. So chart of account is nothing but the list of GL accounts. Maximum length of the GL code is 10 digits in SAP. Okay. And then what I'm explaining is there are three types of chart of accounts. Operational chart of account, which is mandatory. And this is a chart of account which we use to make the postings on day-to-day basis. In addition to the operational chart of account, there are country specific chart of account and group specific chart of account. Okay, so country specific means if a specific country, let's say some country has a requirement that they want to generate their financial statements from the compliance point of view at a specific chart of account level. In that case, they can create their own. Okay, so those are the optional chart of account, country specific and group. This group is only required if you are using separate operational chart of account for different company codes, which is not at all recommended. If you go to big companies who are using SAP, you will find they are only using a single operational chart of account. It is highly recommended. Then you have fiscal year variant. It controls which financial year you are following, whether you are following Jan to December or you are following April to March, whether it is a calendar year or a non-calendar year, whether it is a dependent year or independent. Again, these are all technical, but just one thing that you need to remember, fiscal year controls which financial year you are following. April to March, Jan to December, July to June, September to August, depending upon in which country you are implementing SAP, where is the headquarters. According to that, the fiscal year variant can be different. Then you got posting period variant. Posting period variant controls which posting period is open, which posting period is closed. Okay, which posting period is open and which posting period is closed. So for example, today we are in the month of April. Do you want the business users to post the transactions in the month of May? Definitely not. Do you want the business users to make the postings in the month of March? Not recommended, right? So in order to block, in order to tell the system which posting period is allowed to be posted, which posting period is not allowed to be posted, we use posting period variants. And then we got field status variant. This is basically to control which field is mandatory, which field is optional when you are doing the financial transactions. So there are different field statuses, like some of the fields are hidden. You will not be able to see at the time of posting. There are some fields which are display only. It will not allow you to change that. There are few fields which are required, mandatory. You have to enter. Without entering, it will not allow you to post. And there are some fields which are optional. Okay, which means even if you don't enter the value, system will allow you to post the transaction. Okay, so these are all the different organizational elements that we discussed. We are going to see all these things practically, whatever possible today, and whatever is left over we'll be doing tomorrow. So sorry for not allowing you to ask the questions, but I think now it is a base that the right time to go through any questions that you got during this session. I will give enough time for your doubts, and then we will go to the practical topic. We will see all these things in the SAP system. We'll start doing the setup in SAP. Before I allow you to ask the questions, please remember the questions should be restricted, must be restricted to the topic that we are discussing today. Okay, I will give you enough time if you have any other questions related to the topics that we already discussed. Okay, so when I say already discussed, I don't think there is any difference. Today also we also covered this, so you are all open to discuss this topic. But please don't ask the questions, or my access is still not available, or I have not got the server access, or my Google Drive access is not available. For that, I think we already spent a lot of time in the last week, and I already told you, if you are still facing any access related issues, DM to my number and my team will be immediately taking the action on that. Okay, so any one of you who are still struggling with the access, let's not discuss it here. There is only one way to solve the access related issues, is by reaching out to my team. Okay, so please make sure there is no question on the access issues. There is no question on whether this will be covered, that will be covered. We also discussed that in detail, what we are going to cover in this course. And whenever possible, I will give you again enough time after we are done with the questions related to the topic that we have discussed. Okay, so please make sure that, otherwise everybody will get disturbed, and I don't like again and again telling you that I will not be able to answer this question at this moment. Okay, yeah, so let me see if there are any doubts on the chat screen so that I can answer those first. You can keep on posting your doubts on the chat screens if you want, and at the same time I am allowing you to unmute from my side. Okay, so if you want to unmute, you can unmute, but please one at a time. Okay, let me first start with the chat screen. Amit is asking, is that a universal rule to create a cost center based on department? It is not a rule, Amit. There is no hard and fast rule in SAP. But what I'm telling you is what is followed in the industry and what is recommended. So you will always find the departments are created as cost centers in SAP. Okay, so although there is no hard code rule, but that is what in 95% of the organization it is followed. Amit, if you have counter question, you can unmute yourself. Yeah, Daman is asking how you can see operating concern and controlling area relationship in SAP. We'll see that. As of now, we have not seen anything in SAP. I will show you how you can see the relationship, how you can create the relationship. As a consultant, it is not only seeing, you are going to create that relationship in the SAP system. You must know that. Okay, we'll discuss that practically. Sachin is asking to understand from business perspective, if controlling area is above company code and recommended to cover all company codes, then what's the significance of operating concern? Okay, as I told you, operating concern is only relevant to COPA. Okay, operating concern has nothing to do with the other component that we are discussing: cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting, product costing. Nothing to do with operating concern. Operating concern is only relevant to COPA. So that is the basic difference between controlling area and operating concern. In other words, why SAP introduced operating concern? See, operating concern is introduced by SAP to take care of profitability reports. So once we reach to that topic, you will understand in detail why operating concern needs to be created. Why can't only controlling area is enough? Because the whole base of COPA is operating concern. Without operating concern, you will not be able to do any profitability reporting. Gopal is asking, is still business area concept is available? Yes, it is very much available and it is very much used. There is a misconception in the market which was 20 years old. Someone has told that business area, not someone, even SAP has told maybe in future business area will not be supported. But then came the new GL accounting, 2005. It is already more than 18, 19 years now. With new GL accounting, whatever was the shortcoming of business area, that has been resolved, and business area is very much available with the full potential. So I have seen, practically I'm telling you, I have seen many companies. Okay, I have worked in many companies as a, I joined that company only when the enterprise structure was already designed, all those things were already done, and then I found out that our resources, our consultants, they have not recommended the business area to the customer. It is a big, I will say, uh, definitely it is a big mistake they have done, because if there is something available in SAP which can be utilized to full potential, and if you are not recommending that to customer, it is a big problem or a big mistake that you have done. And I have seen the customer struggling, because if the business area is not available, then what is available to take care of the geographical regions? So what they have recommended is create profit centers with the combination of product and geographical locations. So think about this. If I have 100, okay, I'm talking about big companies. I'm not talking about the small companies.